My name's Kit Taylor. I've lived between Wilmington and Wrightsville Beach for 62 years. This is where I was born and raised, and this area has always been my home. We started fishing on fishing piers when we were young. You know, we kept hearing about the Gulf Stream and how good the fishing was offshore. So we started hanging around the charter boat docks in the area. We would go down there when they came in and clean fish and do some jobs around the boat, hoping that one day one of the mates wouldn't show up, and if we were down there, we were offered a trip to, mate the next day. It's real hard work, but that's all we've ever done is anything related to boats, and everything's harder. Doesn't matter what you're doing around boats, whether you're building these docks or building piers or working on these boats, everything seems to be against you. And there were long days. Most of the time we'd leave the dock at 6 o'clock in the morning and return at 6 in the evening. You're running real hard, but we all did it for the love of being out on the ocean. The last 20 or 25 years, the fishing has really sort of declined. Between the cost of fuel and all the regulations that have been thrown at everybody, it's really put a crunch on the commercial fishermen. But when we were young, fishing on fishing piers was excellent. And the reason why, there'd never been any beach renourishment done on our beaches. Bring these big dredges in because we were slowly losing oceanfront property to erosion. The people with these nice, $2 million homes and all this money tied up in their property, they didn't want to see their homes go. So the government started bringing these big dredges in, and they would go back in intercoastal waterway and dredge intercoastal waterway and pump the sand over to our beaches, take big bulldozers and push it around and move it around till they restored our beaches, how the tourists wanted them, where they could, the beach could advertise these big, nice, pretty white sand beaches. Well, what that did in the fishing industry, you had all this sand moved from back in intercoastal waterway and around the inlets onto the beach, and that was not sand that was supposed to be on those beaches. There's 4 or 5 different kinds of sand around these beaches, where they were moving sand up there on these beaches that weren't used to this type of sand. So every time we'd have a hard northeast or a hurricane, all the erosion would wash that sand right out to sea. And over the last 30 or 40 years, all that sand has covered up all those beautiful reefs that we used to have right along our beaches. And when they covered up all those reefs, the bait fish were gone, and naturally the big predator fish were gone. So what used to be a real live bottom off our beaches is now covered up with this sand that has washed off from where all the beach renourishment had taken place over the last however many years since they've been doing it.